I said it out loud before I could stop myself. I need a baby, or I'll lose everything. The words hung between us, heavy and desperate. My hands were shaking. My voice didn't sound like mine anymore. It sounded like a man standing at the edge of his life, with no ground left under his feet. She didn't look shocked. She didn't look angry. She smiled. Not a happy smile. Not a cruel one either. Just calm. Then she said, softly, "Meet my condition tonight." And in that moment, I knew my life was about to change forever. I never imagined I'd become the kind of man who begged for a child. I was 36. Successful on paper. A senior manager in a family-owned company that had been passed down for 3 generations. The kind of business where your last name mattered more than your talent. From the outside, I had everything. Inside, I was empty. My marriage had ended 3 years earlier. Not with shouting or betrayal. Just silence. Long dinners without conversation. Separate beds. Separate lives. When my wife left, she said, "You're married to pressure, not to me." She wasn't wrong. What she didn't take with her was my family's expectations. In our world, legacy meant blood. A son or daughter wasn't love. It was survival. My father never said it directly, but his eyes did. Every family gathering did. Every quiet question from my mother. Every board meeting where my uncles glanced at me like I was unfinished business. No heir meant no future. And 6 months ago, they gave me a deadline. 1 year. That's all I had. That's how she entered my life. Her name was Sarah. She joined the company as a legal consultant, hired to clean up a messy merger. She was sharp, calm, and impossibly composed. Early 30s. Dark eyes that noticed everything. She spoke less than others, but when she did, people listened. Including me. At first, our connection was professional. Meetings. Emails. Late-night document reviews. Coffee that went cold because we talked too long. She had a way of listening that made you feel exposed. Like she could hear the parts of you that stayed silent. One evening, after everyone had left, I asked her why she worked so late. She shrugged. "I like quiet offices. They don't lie." I laughed. Then realized she was serious. I told her about the pressure. Not everything. Just enough. She didn't interrupt. Didn't judge. She just nodded, like she understood a language I'd been speaking alone for years. That night, something shifted. We started sharing small moments. Coffee before meetings. Walks to the parking lot. Conversations about childhood, regrets, the versions of ourselves we never became. She never talked about her past much. When I asked once, she said, "Some stories don't heal when you tell them." I didn't push. Weeks passed. Then months. I started looking forward to her presence more than I wanted to admit. Not in a reckless way. In a quiet, steady way that scared me. Because I knew my life was complicated. And she deserved something simple. The deadline kept getting closer. My family's pressure grew heavier. Meetings turned colder. My father stopped asking how I was and started asking what I was doing about the situation. One night, After a brutal dinner with my parents, I drove without direction. I didn't realize where I was going until I parked outside her building. I sat in my car for 10 minutes, staring at the steering wheel. Then I called her. She sounded surprised. "Are you okay?" "No," I said. "Can I see you?" She hesitated. Then, "Come up." Her apartment was warm and modest. Books everywhere. Plants by the window. A place that felt lived in, not displayed. She poured tea. I didn't touch it. The words came out broken. The deadline. The threat. The unspoken truth that if I failed, I'd be pushed out of the company my grandfather built. "I don't want a loveless marriage again," I said. "But I can't lose everything either." She listened. Then she asked, very gently, "What do you want?" I opened my mouth. Closed it. "I don't know anymore," I admitted. That's when I said it. "I need a baby, or I'll lose everything." Silence filled the room. Then she smiled. And said, "Meet my condition tonight." My heart raced. What condition? She looked at me, really looked at me. "You don't get to use a child as a solution," she said. "Not with me." I swallowed. "That's not." "Let me finish," she said calmly. "If we do this, it won't be a transaction. No contracts. No secret arrangements." I nodded slowly. "My condition," she continued, "is honesty. Full honesty. About why you want this. About what happens after. And about what you feel." I exhaled. "That's it?" She shook her head. "No. You don't decide tonight. You sit with this. You face the weight of what you're asking. And if you still come back tomorrow, we talk." That was her condition. Not my body. My soul. I left her apartment shaken. That night, I didn't sleep. I thought about my father. My name. My future. I thought about a child growing up as a bargaining chip. About repeating mistakes I swore I wouldn't. And I thought about her. Her calm strength. Her quiet boundaries. By morning, my decision felt heavier than ever. I went to work. Sat through meetings. Answered emails. Pretended I was fine. At lunch, I found myself outside her office. She looked up. I didn't speak. She stood. We went for a walk. "I'm scared," I admitted. "Of losing everything. And of doing the wrong thing." She nodded. "Good. Fear means you still care." We sat on a bench. "I won't do this unless you want more than an heir," she said. "I won't bring a child into a life built on fear." I looked at her. "And what do you want?" She took a breath. "I want truth. I want respect. I want to know that if this becomes more, it's because you choose it. Not because you're cornered." Something inside me cracked. "I care about you," I said. "More than I planned to." Her eyes softened. "That's a start." The weeks that followed were not romantic in the usual way. They were honest. Painfully honest. We talked about boundaries. About expectations. About what would happen if feelings grew. Or if they didn't. I faced my family. Told them I needed time. That I wouldn't rush into anything. The disappointment was sharp. But for the first time, I didn't fold. And slowly, something real began to form. Not desperation. Connection. One evening, months later, we sat in her apartment again. The same tea. The same quiet. She reached for my hand. "No conditions tonight," she said softly. "Just choice." I realized then that I hadn't needed a baby to save my life. I needed courage. To choose a future built on honesty, not fear. The outcome wasn't perfect. My family didn't fully understand. My career path changed. Some doors closed. But when I looked at her, sitting beside me, calm and steady, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Sometimes, losing everything you thought you needed is how you find what truly matters. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.